Little change of scenery today. All right, I want to expand a bit on my nonchalant operator philosophy. I think it's going to be the new way of seeing masculinity, really, and sort of a way of life that is going to become more and more important, especially with AI coming up, especially with, technology just making us isolate more and more. And just overall, having a lifestyle that it's just not gonna optimize our physique. And we're not living in the Red Queen effect. We're far from it. I see lots of looks maxers and black pill enthusiasts preaching that the game now is getting so tough because everybody's going to the gym. Everybody's looking better. Everybody has, for some reason, 10% body fat. Their physique is optimized. No, man. It couldn't be further from the truth. If you look at reality, yes, maybe people are more active in general. But I mean, when I go to the gym, I see a lot of young dudes just wearing Birkenstock, working out in jeans, half-assing their reps. Form is not as good. You can see that they're not really tracking their lifts, going through the motions. So, yes, although it's a great habit that more people are working out, but if you're not tracking, if there's not a clear goal on what you want to achieve, but instead you rely on peptides and things like that in hopes of getting the outcome you want, well, it's gonna be a tough battle, and you're always gonna chase those symptoms instead of the cause, which is just having a proper lifestyle as far as nutrition, a training plan with proper periodizations, with specific goals, specific seasons, right? Like, it's really tough to optimize all the muscle groups in once, unless you're a beginner, right? Like, if you would be a beginner, I would probably recommend, working full body, pretty much, like 3 to 4 times per week. Getting good on like the main, primal movements, which is, push, pull, bend, squat, and, your core. Because when you reinforce your core, it's not about having a six-pack. It's really more to having a strong trunk that is going to enable you to lift heavier weights. And when you gain strength, I mean, it all goes down from here. Your body composition is going to improve with higher adaptations to your strength. Well, by becoming stronger, when you go into hypertrophy, well, you're going to be able to lift heavier weights on that 8 to 12 rep range. And that's how you grow muscles. That's how you grow stronger. That's how you improve your body composition. It's not really about intermittent fasting and being in a deficit constantly and just lifting heavy weights and progressive overload and hope for the best. Like, it's more than that. But at least it's better than nothing. But usually the boring stuff that fitness coaches talk about is usually the stuff that people don't do. And that's why you don't have the best physique that you can have. And you kind of waste your time. Your body, though, is the most important thing. Like, it has to start there. That's where the nonchalant operator philosophy starts, with your body. Like, no question. Like, we got body, presence, purpose. You like my mints? Body, presence, purpose. Okay? Think of it this way, like a nonchalant guy. Like, there's a certain way he goes about his life. Everything seems so effortless. Things seems to come to him. Right? He doesn't chase. He attracts instead. He doesn't hope. Right? Or wishes. He chooses. And when it comes to the body, this is the type of guy who doesn't go to the gym 6 times a week. And when he goes, not that it's important, but he probably dresses like very casually. You're not going to see him wear like Gymshark clothes or fitness brands and type things like that. He's just going to wear casual looking clothes. He's not going to be there for 2 hours. But you can really see a purpose behind his training. Everything seems calculated somehow. And he lifts impressively very heavy weights for his body weight. And there are key lifts that needs to be accounted for. Some of them you've probably done for sure. Like, obviously, yes, the bench press is a good benchmark. But also, building relative strength is super important. And with those movements, I'm talking about the weighted pull-up, weighted chin-up, the weighted dip. All these are primordial when it comes to growing your primal physique. And a primal physique, really, for me, what it is, it's a specific ratio between your shoulders and your waist of about 1.6. Right? So your shoulder divided by your waist should be around 1.6 on average. And your waist, a good benchmark for that would be about 45% of your height. That really gives that V-taper look that everybody's looking for. And you know, I was an actor a while ago. It's still something I thrive towards, building when I do get opportunities, and it's something I constantly study about, like presence on camera, doing like voice training, because it's something I've been lacking, especially with my accent, and just overall trying to sound captivating on camera, right? And please give me constructive criticism when it comes to me speaking right now. That's how I get better. I don't take anything for offense. And if you hear some words that I repeat constantly, like right, all these words, tell me, let me know, because that's how we get better. And I want you to practice as well. You don't need to post videos on YouTube like me, but just get better at talking in front of the camera, speaking your thoughts out loud, no scripts, right? Because in the end, that's going to be a major thing that differentiate us from the machine, from AI. because you can already tell right now when someone's using a teleprompter made by AI. Just the way he speaks, his word choices, something is off, right? Nowadays, you even have like dudes talking to a camera, and it looks like they're looking at the lens, but in reality, they're looking at a script, and they have an AI tool that makes their eyes focus on the lens, which is kind of fucked up. I mean, that's why you can get a bunch of content nowadays, like you can post multiple times a day now, even doing long form, because you just read a script, right? You don't need to be pitch perfect. I digress here. But yes, do let me know. So when it came to the primal physique, we touched on shoulder to waist ratio, what your waist should be. And there's a formula called the FFMI, which is kind of a good tool. It's a good benchmark to have an idea of what would be a realistic weight based on your height and body fat percentage and all that. Like, for example, like the max I could probably achieve naturally at around 10% body fat would probably be close to 187 pounds. Like anything more than like a 25 on the FFMI index, I would probably start asking myself questions whether you're natural or not. So yeah, I mean, if you're 5'10", 200 plus pounds, and you're like 8% body fat, benching 3 plates and a half, yeah, I would strongly question if you're natural or not. Quite frankly, today there's a lot of fitness gurus, man. They're just not natural at all. Doesn't mean they take steroids. They could take other things, growth hormone, trenbolone, right? Just testosterone replacement therapy. And the big problem nowadays with you wanting to optimize your physique is that you're constantly fed information from fitness coaches, gurus, who are going to tell you how to train from a non-natural perspective, right? And those fitness coaches who are not natural, claiming they are, they will give you programs with a bunch of sets, right? A bunch of volume throughout the week. And it's just going to be too much of a workload for you. Like, it's going to create so much stress that it's really going to be hard to recover from that. So you'll get beaten up all week just to do the same the following week. And over time, like, you might get a couple results. You might get results right in the beginning, but over time you will plateau because you're just not giving yourself enough recovery. And it's just too much because you're not taking fucking steroids to recover, right? And now they make money off of you because they have a great physique. They tell you can achieve that naturally, and when you buy their program, you kind of give up easily because it's just too much volume, too much strictness, and yeah, it's just unrealistic. And you get discouraged, and you kind of move on to another program, and the cycle kind of keeps going. So, if I had to resume everything, the reasons you're not getting results right now could be because you're following a program that is like 5-6 sessions a week. There's way too much volume. You got like over 15 to over 20 sets per muscle group for the week, which is way too much. Okay. But also you have to look at your lifestyle. Like, there's no perfect program if your gut health is down the gutter. And your gut, man, is your second brain. This is how you assimilate the nutrients of what you're eating. So if your gut is all screwed up, all messed up, you're not going to get the benefits from the foods that you're eating. Okay, so you got to feed your gut bacteria properly so that your digestive tracts works, right? You eliminate the toxins in your body, and that's going to help with your energy, your mood. It's like your brain, right? And it communicates with that brain constantly. And when your gut is optimized, well, you will build the proper building blocks for things like, your testosterone, growth hormone. You'll be able to manage your blood sugar more efficiently. You'll be more energized, more focused, less brain fog. You'll be more wired throughout the day and then slowly taper off at night. It's not going to be the reverse, because when your gut is all messed up, your cortisol is probably going to be jacked. And that's why when your cortisol's jacked, that's why you're more stressed, more inflammation, and you're holding on to more body fat. So that all comes down to the gut. So no program is going to, beat a crappy gut. So when I work with people, that's the first thing we attack, to make sure that your lifestyle, your nutrition, everything is dialed in, but it also fits your schedule so that it doesn't feel like a burden. We make it efficient so that, you're not spending hours in the kitchen, or, you're not restricting yourself when it comes to, even socializing. You're going out to eat with friends, things like that. You can even have a few drinks a week, right? It is possible. You just need something that is calculated and well programmed. So we touched on gut. There's also sleep, right? If you're not sleeping well, jacks up your cortisol once again, and you're gonna get some hormone dysregulation like ghrelin, leptin. So you're gonna crave more sugar. You're gonna be tempted to snack a bit more because your appetite signals and your satiety signals are all messed up. And that just makes it way tougher to get to your body composition goals. Which, if we want to build a primal physique, that would be around 8 to 11% body fat. I think that's really the sweet spot when it comes to your aesthetic goal, while, having an optimal environment for your hormones. Because when you're too lean, when you're below 8% body fat, your sex drive kind of goes lower and lower, and there's not that big of a difference, especially if you're wearing clothes. If not, you're going to be a little bit fuller in your clothes, and it's actually going to look a bit more attractive to women. If you get too lean, sometimes it's not a good look. But what I'm saying is you're not going to please everybody, right? Some women like, for some reason, guys with dad bods, but I wouldn't bet on that, right? Don't trust what women say, trust what they do. always. So yes, we touch on sleep, your steps. I mean, think about it. If, like I'm doing now, in the sun even, sun is vital for vitamin D. Like it's one of the best building blocks for testosterone. Like in your testicles, you got the Leydig cells, and they need vitamin D to assure that you're in the proper environment to build testosterone. There's also cholesterol. You know, testosterone comes from cholesterol, pregnenolone, and all of that, okay? But yes, getting some sun is vital. It's good for your circadian rhythm. And at the same time, you're getting some steps. Get the blood flowing. It's a good activity for recovery. You get a nice tan as well. And it doesn't really increase your appetite while burning an extra 200 to 400 calories a day. You know, if you add that up to a month, that's an extra 6,000 to 12,000 calories, upwards of that. So that is massive if you want to stay lean without doing endless cardio or impeding on your workout performance. Why? Most people, when they do cardio, they don't know how to manage their zones. So their BPM, beats per minute, goes higher than they should, and then it doesn't really become aerobic cardio. It mainly becomes glycolytic. So you start using glucose as fuel, lactic acid buildup. And if you do that after a workout, that's even worse. Because now you're ruining your recovery. You're jacking up your cortisol even more, which is already high enough after a workout. So what you should do instead of doing cardio after your workout is go home, have a source of carbs and protein to elevate your insulin, taper off that cortisol, and start the recovering process. Cortisol is survival mode. When you're in that mode, you're not building testosterone. When cortisol's high, testosterone's low. They can't be both high at the same time. Okay, you don't want to have sex when you see a lion wanting to devour you, run after you. Okay? You need to be relaxed and recover to grow. Well, that's really important. That's why I strongly believe that less is more when it comes to fitness. And by that I mean your workout should probably be slightly more on the intense side. By that I don't mean do HIIT training, CrossFit and all that. If you're into that, cool. But by intensity I just mean less sets per muscle group per week. And just have variations in your contractions. Your contractions, your rep range. So for most people, when they start switching from high volume, high reps to lower volume, so maybe like 2 hard working sets on a workout session for, let's say, the chest, and they lower their rep range, let's say from 6 to 10 reps instead of the traditional 8 to 12, they tend to see a lot of growth from that, not only in strength but also muscle building. There could be many reasons for that, in my opinion. I think one of the reasons is because, well, you try something new first of all. And when you try something new, most people get it like a spike of motivation. Like training becomes fun again. And if you're into a community, right, with other guys following a similar workout plan, you guys maybe are competing with each other. That's why I think it's cool to have a workout buddy. You know, you push each other. You have a good spot, right? When you have a spotter, you could probably get a few extra reps. Not forced reps, but just the fact that somebody is next to you, like close to touching the bar and kind of lifting it with you, like pretending. It kind of, I don't know, it tricks the brain, and for some reason you can always get an extra 1 to 2 reps. And when you see them lifting slightly heavier than you, well, it kind of pushes you to, hey, motherfucker, you're not gonna lift more. Like, making it social is really important. Like, I've had moments in my life where I would just work out by myself all the time, doing the same routine over and over again. And yeah, it just becomes a bit boring after a while. Like, nobody to push you. And yeah, motivation can go down for everybody. Like, if you base, like, if you rely on motivation to do something, it's going to be hard to be consistent. You really have to accept that the process is going to be challenging. But if you show up regardless, you're building a habit. And everybody is different when it comes to how many days it takes to build a habit. But if you minimize friction, like examples I told you, working out with someone, switching up your routine, making it more fun, well, the habit becomes easier. And as you do it more, well, you're starting to see progress. As you see more progress, you become, well, you're stoked, right? You're happy that you're seeing a return. And now that hard work becomes fun. And then slowly it becomes disciplined. And when when it becomes a discipline, well, now it's just, you're going to repeat it no matter what. It's just part of you. It's a part of yourself now. And when you're not going to work out, eventually you're going to get pissed off. And yeah, you're going to go do it. So discipline is really important. But it comes from habit. Like motivation, it's just a lower way of thinking, I find. Every time I relied on that, I never achieved my goals. It was probably a false goal, like a goal that wasn't mine. Give you an example. Most of my 20s, I was just looking to get rich, man. Get rich online. Let's go. Drop shipping was a big thing back in the day. For me, that was around 2017, 2018. Like it was getting more traction, right? And then, I bought the course, I bought this, I bought that. And after a while your motivation is just, it dies down. And the sole reason you bought that course in the first place was just because of that shiny object syndrome. And you probably don't quite know yourself yet. At least for me, I didn't. So I was looking for that quick win, right? The idea of getting rich, that it would solve everything. But if to get rich, you pick an avenue that is not really like fun for you, it's not something that makes you curious, that you're able to do every day, regardless of how you feel, it's really going to be hard to make it, because people who do love it will outwork you, will do it every day, no matter what. Oh shit. Almost fell. The ice. Yeah. So you gotta pick something that you love, or at least that you're curious about, and like give it an actual shot. Like, don't just try it for 2 weeks and then give up. But I get it, you try a lot of things and sometimes you know right away if you don't like it. And I think your intuition, might be right. When it's time to let go, you let go. And that's great. That was something so hard for me, man. Trusting my intuition. Moments in your life when you're not even sure if your gut feeling is truthful or not. And that can be that's a tough place to be in. Because you don't even know if you should trust yourself. So who should you trust, right? That can be hard. But I think the more you optimize your body, your hormones, right, your mood, your energy, when this baseline gets higher and higher, well, you're more in tune with yourself. You're less distracted by all this noise, especially if you don't consume social media as much and you optimize your physique, your body. You'll be in a much better place. And that self-trust will build. And you'll probably be more in tune with your actual self, which is going to be much easier to make a decision. And it's going to come from a good place. It's going to come from the heart. Not just your rational mind. Right? AKA, you scroll, you see an ad, seems like a promising offer to get rich quick, then you rationalize in your thoughts, yeah, that's the move, that's what I got to do. But you don't listen to your heart, your gut, right? Like gut feeling and gut health, like they correlate, right? So if your gut is all messed up, your gut feeling is going to be all messed up. So I just made this connection. I don't know why it wasn't that obvious to me as I was talking, but it's pretty fucking obvious. Like, I think it all starts with the gut. How do you improve that? Well, it comes from many sources. To put it easy for you, fruits, veggies, grains, so things like oats, buckwheat, quinoa, flax seeds. So you need soluble and insoluble fibers. Dry, moist, right? And then you got to feed your gut bacteria. You need prebiotics, probiotics. These are like your workers that make sure everything's all right in your GI tract, right? So that's really gonna help you regulate your blood sugar, constantly feed a good amount of energy to your brain so you don't get as many crashes, right, throughout the day. That's going to really help with your energy, your mood. You're regularly going to take a number 2, right? It's going to be clean. Some good snakes. And yeah, when that is regulated and optimized, you'll probably make better decisions. And you'll be able to trust that intuition, that gut feeling. So yeah, we touched on a lot of things. So reasons your current workout program might not be the best for you. That gut health is everything. Lifestyle habits like your sleep, your steps, getting some sun. Water is a good one too, right? Correlates with digestion. So about half your body weight in ounces I would drink, like minimal. Your sleep. And yeah, start questioning your purpose more often. Stop looking for that shiny object, that get rich quick scheme. Because everything has a price to pay. So the question is, what's worth to you to work hard on and to not give up easily? Something that is making you curious enough to pursue long term and make something meaningful out of it. And this is an evolution. But the purpose of this video was to show you that the body is where you need to start to get to that evolution. And that's going to be for another video, but this is also going to affect your presence, how you show up, your posture, your appearance. Right? These are strong elements of demonstrating authority and influence. And your presence, from increased energy, focus, your mood, your appearance, well, that's going to translate into your frame, how you see reality, having boundaries, more confidence into yourself. And people are going to sense that when you walk into a room, when you approach a woman you like. You are so comfortable in yourself that you're not seeking anything external. So you're not putting excess importance on things that you want. You're good either way. And that presence, that energy is really going to make you attractive. And no amount of looks maxing will defeat that, will break that. So I think that's it. It's quite simple. You optimize your body, you get clear on your purpose, something you're willing to fight for and stick with long enough to see results. And it's going to show in your presence. And all you got to do is show up. Say hi. You don't need to use any canned line to attract her. You're present. You have frame. You understand what you want. You're not trying to impress, you just are. We're going to touch more on female nature and things like that later on. But this is the Nonchalant Operator philosophy. And I'm going to be sharing more of that as I leave this amazing place in Canada. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk politics, but it is what it is right now. I'm moving to Seoul, South Korea in about a week. So I'll probably see you then. Share my journey with you. Building the Nonchalant Operator. And I hope you follow me in this new philosophy to make men great again and fucking win. See ya.